Hey guys, what is up? Big Reviews here, back again with another video and another tier list. I know tier lists are kind of outdated, but as you can see, it is 3 a.m. in the morning. This is the same day and same outfit because I just filmed my top 5 movie scores video. I don't know which video is going to be out first, but in that video I talk about how I've just been going through some personal stuff, a lot of self-thinking and stuff going on that I want to pursue in my life. And so, get stuff off my mind. What better way than to nerd out on shit and talk to a camera? So let's get on. I did this with Marvel recently, and I really like doing that video. And I recently did an hour-long Star Wars timeline breakdown. And so if you guys want to go see that, go check it out. I worked really hard on it. I think it came out pretty good. And I figured I would do a tier list because we always talk about what movies and TV shows we don't like, but we cannot really delve deep into it. I'm just going to give it out how they do. New Hope. I mean, obviously the OG original trilogy is going to be all an S for me, but A New Hope might be my least favorite of the OG 3. I'm just going to do this quick. 5 and 6 in the middle. So 5 is easily the best Star Wars film behind Episode 3, and actually Rogue One's up there for me, which we'll talk about later. But A New Hope and Return of the Jedi really go back and forth with me per day. I mean, whenever I think about them or if I want to rewatch one of them. Empire I can easily pop in, and it's just really good all the way through. All these are really good all the way through, but Return of the Jedi, it's just like you're an hour at Jabba's, and then, you have all the Ewok stuff in the middle of the movie that really kind of brings things to a halt. But then you get to the final third, which is, Vader and Luke talking and Luke going to the Emperor and really appeasing to his father and stuff. And that's my favorite Star Wars anything. And if the whole movie was like that, it would probably be like the best movie ever made. The Ewok stuff's not horrible, and obviously the Jabba stuff's cool. It's just on multiple rewatches and stuff, it's just really hard to like sit through it all the way. I mean, I'm not saying it's boring, but it's more like, okay, I'd rather watch Empire. And A New Hope's the same way. Like, I remember we watched this in film class, and a lot of people who haven't seen it kind of like we're a little bored almost, and I kind of get that. It does take a long time to wind up. I do like A New Hope, especially the trench one scene, but like I said, back and forth on these two for me. They're easily S. I mean, especially when it comes to Star Wars, like they're S. Phantom Menace, I'm gonna put B tier for Phantom Menace. Yes, it can be boring at times. Yes, Jar Jar is annoying. I think Jar Jar is overly hated. I think he fit what he was supposed to do, which was he was supposed to be a little comic relief, dumb character in that movie. Because you take him out, it's literally all politics, and then it's literally the main character dying and Palpatine's plan starting, right? So I get the need for it, especially like George Lucas always said, Star Wars is for kids. But I like when they do not kid stuff, which we'll get to. Andor. But yeah, I mean, I love Star Wars politics. That might be an unpopular opinion. I just really love when we get like, especially with this movie, you're really getting like what the galaxy looked like before Palpatine took over. And it has Duel of the Fates. Come on. One of the most iconic scenes in all of cinema, let alone Star Wars. And like we talked about in one of my videos previous, like Dave Filoni said, Duel of the Fates is one of the most important lightsaber fight in the whole saga, because they're fighting over the fate of Anakin, this child, right? And if Qui-Gon were to win, then Anakin might not have became Vader and all that, but he did. Qui-Gon lost, and in an inexperience, Obi-Wan took over, and it went down how we know. Attack of the Clones, I don't think I'm gonna put D, because I'm not that harsh on it, but I am gonna go C. This is probably my least favorite out of these 5, including Episode 3. It's my least favorite of the OG 6, just because it's fun. Like Geonosis was cool, but obviously like the dialogue with the love, like the love dialogue's pretty cringy. A lot of it's become a meme now, but yeah, this movie's just, I don't really rewatch this movie. This is probably my least rewatched movie of Star Wars, besides like the final 2 sequels. There's not much to like about it. Like obviously I like Obi-Wan and seeing the cloning facility and Jango Fett and all that, and obviously like the Geonosis fight and start of the Clone Wars, but that's really it. I really don't have much to say about Attack of the Clones. Episode 3 peak. I mean, like I said, same way these two flip for bottom of S, these two flip for top of S for me. I really do think, as of right now, Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars film. Empire, though, has always been my favorite, and I think I could easily see these are tied. It's just these are two totally kind of different films, but Revenge of the Sith is just this epic where every time you watch it, you're just expecting Anakin to not fall, and he does, and it's just such a good movie. I mean, obviously the iconic fight at the end that's 9 minutes long, and just seeing the downfall of Anakin and him being manipulated, and Hayden's acting in this movie is criminally underrated. Like, yes, he wasn't as good in Episode 2, but his eye acting and like the scene where he's looking across Coruscant and Padme's looking back, I mean, it's just so good and so tragic, and they just do his fall to the dark side beautifully. I really and seeing Luke and Bourne and all that. It was a great way to end like these first 6 films. But on another day, I might put Empire in there because it's fucking Empire Strikes Back. I mean, it's incredible. All right, next up we have Clone Wars. So I'm gonna put Clone Wars A. Unpopular opinion, I'm putting it B. Okay, so I did not grow up with Clone Wars. I've seen the show. I love it. The final 4 episodes of Clone Wars are some of the best Star Wars we've ever had. And if I was basing it on only 4, it'd be S. But Clone Wars is good. I do think, don't kill me, it's slightly overrated, especially the first 3 seasons. Once we get to like Maul being back and all that, like season 4 and on is like really peak. But the first 3 were kind of tough to get back to. They weren't horrible at all, but I've always thought Clone Wars was a tad overrated. Like I said, the final season, especially the final 4 episodes with, you know, it taking place before, during, and after episode 3 with Ahsoka, that's probably peak Star Wars in my opinion. And I could easily see why people think it's S and A. But for me, I'm going to do B. Maybe A. I might move it to A after this, because when we're done with this, I'm going to move everything around if I need to. Rebels, I've never seen Okay, I've never seen Rebels. I've seen so many clips. I've basically seen whole episodes at this point. I've seen the Ahsoka versus Vader. I've seen anything to do with Ahsoka and Maul, and especially Maul's undoing and Twin Sons, and anything that's like super important in that show I've seen and I've caught up on for lore wise. But other than that, I've never like sat down and watched the whole show. I know about these characters, I know their arcs, I know all the scenes, but I'm still gonna put it in never watch because I don't think I can judge it from what I've seen. Probably B or A. But like I said, there's a lot of kids stuff. It's not as dark as the Clone Wars gets. Actually, I'm gonna move Clone Wars to A. I'm gonna move Clone Wars to A. I'm gonna do it. I'll put it there right now. It's just for the Rebels, it's a lot more kiddie, and I don't like when they make the Empire like not look intimidating. Like, yeah, Vader's intimidating, but that's it. We'll get to that when we get to Andor. But yeah, I've never seen it, so I mean, I've seen so many clips, but I've never technically seen it, so I'm putting it there. Force Awakens. Unpopular opinion, I'm putting Force Awakens in A. I love Force Awakens. Maybe B. Maybe B. We'll see if I move it to A. Force Awakens is not a bad film. It's really not. Yes, it's like a rehash, like A New Hope, but I'm gonna put it above. Oh no, I'm not gonna put it above. This is the strongest of the sequels. This is really the only one I really like. It set up a lot of interesting stuff, and I remember everyone was hyped and everyone was speculating like, who's her parents, who's Snoke, and all that stuff. Like, and then we see Luke at the end finally, and I remember just the hype going into Last Jedi was something unfathomable, and I really wish they stuck it, but they didn't, which we'll get into in a second. And yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this movie other than I like it. I know a lot of people, when they talk about the sequels, they usually exclude this one. I just wish they stuck with the original vision. Rogue One S. Rogue One is fucking S tier. Now, if you really want me to be controversial, I could put it like here. Like my 3rd favorite of all time. As you know, when you read these, you go left to right. But right now, I'll put it here. Actually, I might put it here. I mean, this is like, I'll put it here right now. This is peak like Star Wars. I really like the cast. I really like how they weren't scared to kill everyone off. Seeing the Death Star being built and seeing the internal conflict with some high-ranking officials in the Empire over like just bragging rights about the Death Star. Seeing how they took the one plot hole from A New Hope and actually like fleshed it out with, you know, oh, it was actually a fail-safe or whatever. I really like that. And the final hour is just the best Star Wars. I mean, literally, it's literally the best space battle. It feels like Vietnam, and like I said, they were always going for that vibe with some of the Star Wars fights. But that, I mean, the ground battle on Scarab's great. The whole sky battle is great, and obviously we get probably one of the most iconic scenes in recent Star Wars, let alone Star Wars in general, which is the hallway Darth Vader scene. At this point in time in 2016, this was the second movie that's been made since the prequels. Everyone has always wanted to see Vader just go crazy. Like, we see him in the original trilogy, but then when the fights got better through the prequels, we never saw him like in his suit really killing it outside of like comics. So seeing him do that in live action was something crazy. And the way that this literally pops into A New Hope within seconds makes A New Hope just so much better, because you see the sacrifice that went into getting these plans. And I just love this film. I mean, if Disney just kept making movies like this that just built on, like, I don't know why they did the sequel trilogy. Maybe you could have made a sequel movie or two. I don't know if you needed a trilogy, but I don't know. Episode 6 just ended so well, and I feel like if we just kept going with like Mandalorian and like Thrawn being a threat instead of like Palpatine coming back, which we'll get to in a second. As you guys know, I can rant about that for fucking days. but this stuff that just enriches stuff and like it was so good. Last Jedi, I'm gonna put C. I have a really weird relationship with this movie. I was so fucking hyped for this film, and it came out, and I was kind of okay. So I've gone through 3 mood swings with this movie. I was like really loving it when it came out, and then I really stewed on it and just like thought about some of the stuff in it and how stupid it was, and so it really made me not like it. And then especially once Episode 9 came out, it really made me appreciate this movie a little bit more. I've never gotten the point that Luke's character is an assassination. I understand that Luke feels different, but this is also like 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and I know like we've seen him in The Mandalorian, and I miss seeing him like peak Luke, right? But like him here, I mean, he makes valid points throughout this whole movie where he talks about like the Jedi's downfall was their hubris. They let Palpatine come up out of nowhere, and they refused to like look into it because they didn't think it was possible. And his arc kind of ends well because like, I mean, I get like he's not supposed to feel that way, but then that's his whole point of his arc is like, yeah, becoming Luke the legend, becoming that person that everyone knows and loves about Luke. And one of the best scenes in the sequel trilogy is when Yoda comes to talk to Luke, and he's talking about how failure is our greatest teacher. And that really shows Luke. And Luke does the most Jedi thing you can do at the end, where he sacrifices himself. Yes, that might not be his actual body, but he puts so much Force energy into it where he did end up, dying from it and saving the rebellion, saving hundreds of people to get out of there. I mean, that's the most badass thing a Jedi can do. And I just really liked his arc at the end. Other than that, I think it was ballsy to kill Snoke off. I wish we kind of learned a little more about him in this movie before they did that, especially with the tease in Force Awakens. And I just wish Disney had the balls, we'll get to that when we get to Rise of Skywalker, had the balls to really stick with, okay, Kylo's going to be evil and Snoke's dead. And we'll get into that when we get to Rise of Skywalker, but that's my biggest gripe with that. Other than that, yeah, I am pissed that we never saw Luke, Han, and Leia meet again. I wish we did see that in Force Awakens, or I wish they would have saved Han's death till The Last Jedi. And the whole concept of fuel, I never really liked either, and the Rose subplot really drags this film down for me. I mean, like I said, the points I talked about I like, but the Rose subplot I just did not care for. Solo, guys, are you gonna be angry with me? Solo's top of B or A for me. I fucking love Solo. Maybe even A. We'll see how I feel at the end, but this movie got criminally passed over because it came out 4 months after Last Jedi. This is when Star Wars was at the peak of them trying to do what Marvel does, where they do like 3 movies a year, and it just doesn't work for Star Wars, right? Maybe they're television, but it doesn't work for Star Wars. And this movie just got like overlooked, and they were like, oh, it's gonna be bad because of Last Jedi. And I can get why people thought that, they're like, oh, well, no one can play Han Solo, which is true. The guy that got to play Han is great. This was a fun movie. Donald Glover as Lando is probably one of the best casting they've ever done. I mean, he just feels like Lando. Seeing Han meet Chewie, seeing Maul again in live action was crazy. I really wish we got a continuation of that. I know they do stuff in the comics, and like I said on this fucking channel multiple times, yeah, the comics are cool, but if I'm not seeing something on TV and movies, I really don't give a fuck. Really, I don't. Kessel Run was great. Like I say in my top 5 movie scores, the score in this movie is great, especially during the Kessel Run. And it's just a fun movie. It's a fun side movie. And it doesn't really add anything huge, but seeing Han, get the Falcon and stuff was really cool. Star Wars Resistance, never seen. I know it's a kid's show. I've never seen it. I know it's canon. I know it takes place like during episode 7. Never seen it. So move on. Mandalorian, A. I mean, come on, A. I mean, the only thing that makes me want to put it to a B is season 3 is a little mid. And I made a whole video on that, like midway through season 3. I wish I made a follow-up to that. Because season 1 especially was just something we've never seen before. And we had a feeling that we haven't felt with Star Wars in a while. Where it was just no force, no bullshit. It was just this guy with Baby Yoda who came out of nowhere. No one, it did not get leaked. And then seeing like their relationship grow, seeing the Darksaber again. Season 2 was just as good, where we see all that leading up to seeing Luke again and seeing him give away Grogu, and I was crying my ass off. And season 3 was cool. Like I said, it had the problem with COVID delayed everything, so people were waiting like 3 years to see the Mando come back with Grogu, and they end up doing it in the Boba Fett show. So then with season 3 of Mandalorian, like, the 2 best episodes of Boba Fett are the Mandalorian focused episodes 5 and 6. Those should have been episodes 1 and 2 of season 3, and I think they were. And I think when COVID came out and fucked up Boba Fett and all that, they made it into Boba Fett or something. But the first half of season 3 of Mandalorian is just, it's not boring. It's kind of boring. Nothing's really going on. Like season 1, you just had the buildup of why they want Grogu and all that. And then season 2, we see Ahsoka, and we see him trying to find Ahsoka, and then with that in turn, we find Luke and him trying to find Grogu's home, and it feels really natural. And then season 3, like I said, like the first half is just really boring, and then Moff Gideon comes back. I can barely remember season 3. So season 3 almost makes me bring it down to a B, but no, Mandalorian's some of the best Star Wars we've gotten recently, and even people who don't watch Star Wars, especially, I saw a lot of women on TikTok talk about how they're like, I've never seen Star Wars, but Grogu's making me watch, and they get invested into the whole saga. I really love that. Rise of Skywalker D. Let's get that shit the fuck out of here. If there's an F tier, I would put it there. This movie, I don't know, I've just become such a fucking hater of this movie, and it sucks because in my review on my channel that's still up to this day, I think I was gaslighting myself into saying it was peak. Going into this film, I was excited because it was coming off The Last Jedi. This was the finale of the whole Skywalker saga. Palpatine was back, and like, I got excited for that in the moment, and I think a lot of people did because it was smart on Disney's part. They're like, fuck, we need to bring these fans back. Fuck it, bring Palpatine back. That is the single worst decision they've ever made in Star Wars, and I stand by that. I talk to my friends about this all the time. It undermines Anakin's whole arc. Anakin's whole thing is the return of the Jedi and kill, and like that was so beautiful in itself because everyone's like, oh, Return of the Jedi, it's Luke return. No, Anakin's the returning Jedi, right? And then him killing Palpatine, but then he wasn't really dead and he was a clone, and I just feel like the execution was so poor. I feel like there was a way to maybe make this work. The whole in the opening crawl, it says there's a mysterious radio broadcast of the whole galaxy. I swear to God, the only way you could hear this when it came out was on Fortnite. There was a whole Fortnite event, and you could hear Palpatine's whole message. It wasn't even in the goddamn movie. That is crazy. Maybe for an indie film that needs budgeting or something. The finale of the Skywalker saga, get the fuck out of here. The dumbass knife that lines up to the Death Star destruction that's been sitting in water for 40 years, come the fuck on with that. The Death Star being that intact, like especially the throne room, that shit got annihilated. It wasn't even done in construction. And like I said when we talked about The Last Jedi, Kylo turning to the good side, I just don't like. I think they should have kept. The problem was they were trying to fix The Last Jedi and also end the saga. I feel like they really should have just said, fuck it, let's work with what we have. Yes, he killed, or Snoke's dead. He's gonna be, the villain to the end, because we're so used to people turning to the good side for the last second. But maybe it's just tragedy that, oh, he'll never turn, he'll never change. And what even hurts more is okay, here we go. Rey Skywalker, whatever, right? If she wants to take his name, I feel like it would have been more powerful if she was like, yeah, I'm Rey Palpatine. And he's not who I am. I feel like that would have been way more powerful for her character. Obviously, we have some more stuff to see with Rey coming up, so we can see if they do that. But Rey Skywalker was just kind of cringy. And also, when you sit back and you're like, wow, Ben just died. He was the last Skywalker, so technically Palpatine won. The Skywalker lineage is dead. Oh, cool. Okay, fuck me, I guess. That never sat right with me. Leia, I did like how Leia died and R2 was by her side. I really liked that. I was going into this movie, that was one of the biggest things, was like, how are they going to do Leia because she died? They're using archival footage. I think they really included her really well. Let's talk about some of the good stuff. I mean, Han talking to like the Death Star lightsaber fight was cool. Han talking to Kylo or Ben was cool. I really did like that. Even though I don't like that he turned, since they were doing it, I did like how they did that. One thing I thought was kind of cool was when she is, that's why I said they executed better. When she's fighting Palpatine at the end, and she's walking through his lightning and all that, and they're insinuating that all the Jedi are flowing through her at that moment to help defeat this big bad. I wish we saw that. There was a fan edit somewhere on YouTube you guys can look up where it's basically like all the Jedi Force Ghosts with their hand out, and every time she takes a step, one of them appears. I think that's fucking cool. And I think that would have been great to see, and it would have like shown you more that like yes, they're all. It's not just her. When I first watched it, everyone's like, oh, it's just her fighting lightning. Like okay, but no, it's like it's really hard hitting because all the Jedi are flowing through her, and I just think that would have been cool. But yeah, this movie was a big disappointment to me. I mean, I was blinded by nostalgia when it came out because back then I really didn't like the shit talk shit I liked. But this I like, and it sucks because now with Mandalorian season 3 and the Bad Batch and all that, they're trying to like do what the Clone Wars did for the prequels, where they're like setting up the cloning stuff with Palpatine, and that's cool and all, but I just, oh man, I just like, when I watch these shows, I just don't like to think about the sequels. I really don't. But Bad Batch, I'm gonna put never watch. I watched the first season of Bad Batch, and I really liked it. I really liked the opening scene, especially with Order 66 and all that. But other than that, I didn't see season 2 and 3, so I really can't say. I heard it's good. I saw the finale, I think, too. I'm really weird when I don't watch things, and especially with that show, which has like 20 some episodes a season, and I'm trying to watch other stuff. I'm like, fuck it, let me just hit the big points. So, Boba Fett, I'm gonna put C. I don't know where in C, probably like there. But Boba Fett was cool. I could see if you want to put it in B. I just really didn't get attached to it. Like the scenes where he was with the Tusken Raiders was cool, and like I said, the 2 episodes with the Mando were fucking great. Especially the one where Mando goes to see Luke and see Grogu again and sees Ahsoka. That was cool. I hate that Ahsoka already knows Luke. That should have been something that we saw on screen where they meet. But yeah, those 2 episodes are really good. And then like the ending where Mando, see, like I said, everything good about the show really is Mando. Like obviously the guy who plays Boba's killing it, and it was cool seeing Boba right after episode 6, like coming out of the Sarlacc pit, like because that's been talked about for 40 years now. But like Fennec Shan's cool and stuff, but I mean, I just really didn't have any like anything that any emotion I got out of this or any like attachment was from Mando, so that's just kind of sad to me. Obi-Wan, I'm gonna put B. I'm gonna put Obi-Wan in B. I think it'll be like here. Obi-Wan was good. There was some stuff that was kind of shit, like just like I said, poorly executed. Like the woods fight where little Leia's running around and it's just the slowest wood fight, like the slowest race of all time. Obi-Wan with like a conspicuous big ass thing in his like robe, like that's easily a little girl and no one notices. I did like Vader in this show. I don't like, was her name Reva? Here's the thing with Reva, like I get the character, I just don't see the need for her. Like I get she's chasing Obi-Wan, like she's an inquisitor, but like I don't know, I just like her storyline, like I just didn't care too much about, and I just feel like they could have done it better, or even just made her a little like side show or whatever. But in this show, everyone was here to see Obi-Wan dealing with after Order 66 and seeing Vader, and I get she was chasing him and stuff, but some of the stuff she does in that show is kind of and I just really didn't like resonate with her character a lot. Especially there was a lot of scenes with Vader and her that I was just like, get me to the point where it's just fucking, you and Obi-Wan. The fight at the end is peak though. I mean, the fight, the episode 3 I think it is, where he drags Obi-Wan through the fucking like fire and then he snaps that kid's neck. That was crazy, and that's like the Vader I really like seeing. And seeing him just effortlessly like grab the ship that's going to orbit was fucking crazy. And then the fight at the end was peak. I mean, that whole fight scene was crazy, and just seeing Obi-Wan finally get that off his chest, and Anakin almost giving him that closure where he says, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did, and like how it's blue to red on his face, and it was just so great. That episode was so good. Andor S, come on guys. I mean, this is literally, I could see you putting it as the best thing Star Wars has ever done. I mean, Andor, I'm going to put it above Rogue One because, so these two are like PB and J. They said, so season 2's coming out, and they said how, so season 2 of Andor, every 3 episodes is going to be a year time skip, and it's literally going to lead minutes into when we see him in the Rogue One. So you're going to be able to watch Andor, pop in Rogue One, and then pop in A New Hope. And this is just Star Wars at its best. The writing in this show is the best Star Wars has ever had. I will say that 100%. The action, like, yes, it's a little slow. A lot of my friends have brain rot. They don't watch it. It's a little slow, but the build up and it just makes the eventual fight scenes or whatever so great. Like, the first arc is him getting off this planet. The second arc is like a heist. which has one of the best escape scenes ever with all these meteors going around. And the third arc is like a prison break, which is some of my favorite shit ever. I mean, Andy Serkis in the prison break, like slowly cracking to Andor and him being like, you know, how many guards are on each other, blah, blah. Phenomenal Star Wars. And the thing, like I mentioned earlier, that this show does great is it makes the Empire scary as shit. The Empire's supposed to be scary. Like, they just take him to jail for no reason. They're looming every planet. And show's so damn good. If you haven't seen Andor, just at least put it on in the background while you do some shit. I promise you your attention will get caught. Tales of the Jedi, it was cool. I mean, this is like anthology stuff, so it's like each episode's like its own little thing. I don't really care for it. Young Jedi, never seen. Ahsoka, B. That's how I really feel about a lot of these new shows from Star Wars, like Ahsoka, and like Andor's an anomaly. Andor's peak. Mandalorian's really fucking good. I can even see you putting Actually, I'm gonna keep a Mandalorian there. But like Ahsoka was really good, and I was really hyped for it. It has like, I don't know how to explain it. Like Andor feels great because they filmed on location stuff, and like Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, like they just film on that dumbass fucking 360 LED thing. You could tell it's a sound stage, and it was cool for Mando, but like now every show's using it, so you're just kind of like, ugh, like every show looks the same. Ahsoka was at least cool because we were seeing shit that we have not had an answer for almost a decade, which is like, where's Thrawn, where's Ezra? This is the first time we see another galaxy out there, and the cliffhanger of this series, like I'm still excited to see where that goes, like how Ahsoka gets back and all that. Seeing Anakin again, that whole flashback episode was great. Seeing a young Ahsoka and a young Anakin in Clone Wars armor, and just seeing him teach her, and it was like Anakin post episode 6 teaching her, so he's like mentioning the things he did and mentioning Luke. It was really crazy to see, and stuff that we could only, us fanboys, ever only think of. Yeah, I think it's B. I think it's great. I think it has potential to be good. Dave Filoni, I love Dave Filoni. It's just now he's getting to the point where, okay, it's either Clone Wars and it's Order 66, or it's fan service. In the case of Ahsoka, I really don't care, because I think Anakin teaching her was cool, and I think they did it in a way where it's like, okay, fuck it, yeah. Tales of the Empire. I actually like Tales of the Empire. Did I watch this? I did not watch this. I didn't watch this. I was thinking about Tales of the Jedi. I'm going to put, Tales of the Jedi there. Fuck it. Acolyte. Upper bottom of C. Everyone knows about Acolyte. I don't even want to shit on this more. Do I think it's overhated slightly? Yes. Do I think there's people that don't like it just because there's a black lead? Sadly, yes. My gripes with it obviously aren't anything to do with race or anything. My gripes with it were I was expecting something different. Let's talk about the things that stand out. The main character, I love him. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The fact that he learned English to do this role was great, and I just really loved his character. How it actually ended. What was with this guilt of what he did, and they find out he ends up dying. That was crazy. Episode 5 in general was great. That's when Khmer, who's another highlight of this whole show, he comes and he basically slaughters Jedi like crazy. And it was almost like the showrunners were like, okay, we hear how you guys complain about how everyone survives a lightsaber stab, so here we go. And he makes a shish kebab of all these Jedi, and he was great. And then obviously, I just wish Disney had the balls to just continue it. And I know people shit on it, but like, this era is so interesting to me because Palpatine's out there. This is 100 years before Episode 1, so I think Palpatine's out there by now. No, this is 70 years before Episode 1, but like Palpatine, like we see Plagueis. This is the first canon sighting of Plagueis, and it's just so cool because this is like right when the Sith start coming out, and it would have been so interesting if they just had the balls to keep going, because where it leaves off is a big cliffhanger where Khmer actually turned the good one into the bad one, the bad twin, and they were going off to do their own thing, and it was really interesting. There's a lot of weird shit in this story that I really didn't care for, but I do think it's overhated a fuck ton. Like, people were talking about it like it's the Antichrist, and it's just not that bad. I mean, it is the worst Star Wars shit, though. Like, it's low-key. I'd rather watch. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I know I just hyped it up, but when I think about it, like, I just have no desire to really watch this show, and I'd rather watch Rise of Skywalker over it, honestly. So let's go through my ranking. We have Revenge of the Sith number 1, Empire Strikes Back 2, Return of the Jedi, New Hope. I could see if someone puts New Hope in A. I could see that even with even Return of the Jedi, Empire, and these two are like these two Andor and Rogue One. I feel like okay, Episode 3, Episode 5, and Andor should be in everyone's S. I feel like obviously it's your opinion, but these are just the definition of peak Star Wars. We get a dark movie about the Empire striking back, obviously, and Luke, I'm Your Father, which is iconic. Revenge of the Sith, which is Anakin's downfall. Andor seeing the peak of the Empire's power. And Rogue One seeing the rebellion really take form and leading into the original trilogy. These S's I think I'm going to stay with. My A's, I think my A's are good here. You know what? Solo, I'm going to move to A. I fucking love Solo. I think Solo, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's cool. Phantom Menace, I do like above Force Awakens just because it's just a whole different timeline. And I really like Qui-Gon Jinn a lot. And I think this movie's really overhated. And then Force Awakens here is good. It's like, good. Like B is a good tier. Obi-Wan is pretty good. I really like seeing them connect again, and I don't think we need to see more Obi-Wan. Ahsoka was good. There's a lot of stuff that I could have seen more of, but from what I saw and what they set up with Thrawn and all that, I really like that. Tales of the Jedi, it's what it is. It was cool seeing a young Dooku. That really carried the show, was the young Dooku. Boba Fett, definition of mid. Probably my least favorite live action show other than Acolyte. Like I said, Mandalorian really just carries both episodes and carries that whole damn show because I was really only watching it to see Mandalorian. And after he gets rescued from the Tusken Raiders, I really don't care about Boba because now he's just Boba. I've never thought Boba was as cool as people made him to be, honestly. Oops. Last Jedi, yeah, I mean, it really started the downfall of Disney Star Wars. I do think it's overhated. There's some cool concepts in this movie that I like, and I wish Disney had the balls to stick with it and move on. Attack of the Clones, I'm going to move Attack of the Clones here, actually. As much as I should talk Attack of the Clones, I'll put Attack of the Clones in B, actually. I mean, it's not great, but it's still enjoyable, and seeing the start of the Clone Wars and all that, I'll put there. D, Rise of Skywalker, fucking hate that movie. I mean, I talk shit about that movie anytime I talk about Star Wars nowadays. My main gripe, like I said, is Palpatine being back is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I hate. I know I don't give a fuck if he's a clone. I hate that he did that, and I hate how they made Snoke connected to that. I think Snoke should have been... The only scene that I really fucking like in Rise of Skywalker is the first, 2 minutes where Kylo goes to see Palpatine, and he says... I've been every voice inside your head, and it's like Vader's voice, Snoke's voice, and then Palpatine's voice. I thought it was pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, I hate that Palpatine's back. I hate it. This was the first time in the trilogy that I think the trio actually felt like a trio. Like Rey, Poe, and Finn actually were bouncing off each other and felt like a true thing. But again, they butchered Finn's character. I didn't even get into that. Finn's character is butchered like shit in episode 8 and 9, especially 9. They were setting up... I still think he should have been the Jedi. I think that would have been ballsy by Disney, because I hate how anytime they make a movie like this, or Black Panther, and they release it in China, because Disney wants to be advocates for this, but then they hide the black person on the cover. Like in Black Panther, they covered his face up, and in Rise of Skywalker, they straight up just took Finn off the fucking poster. That's just some pussy shit, and I think he should have been the main Jedi. Seeing him go from Stormtrooper to Jedi would have been so fucking cool. And the fact that after episode 7, all he comes down to is him yelling Rey, and then they're like, oh shit, episode 9, let's just bring back this plot point that hasn't been set up where, oh yeah, he might have the Force. I didn't fuck with that. They did my boy Finn dirty. Rey's cool. I feel like with a good script, Rey can be cool, but I still feel like they fucked Finn over. Acolyte, I just get no joy, really. Like I said, episode 5 was cool, but every time an episode came out, I just felt like a chore watching this. And then anything interesting they did was at the end, where Plagueis was there, and then all of a sudden, Plagueis is here, the main character died, and then now, the girl and Camille are going off to be evil. That's when I got interested, and then it ended, and then Disney just never acknowledged the show again, and I don't think they renewed it. Like I said, Disney, grow a pair of fucking balls and fucking renew it. Just fuck it. Just finish the story. I'd rather you finish the story than not, right? I mean, I guess not, because Rise of Skywalker is shit. But yeah, guys, this was my tier list. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. There's probably some things, if I really dug deep, I would change around here. And yes, you could say I love Solo too much, but if you haven't seen Solo or haven't seen it in a while, put it on. It's a fun Star Wars film. It's just fun. It's Han Solo. He does a great job as Solo. And just seeing him get the Falcon and all that was fun. And yeah, this is my list. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree down below. As always, it's been Joey. Peace out.